Pretty smart if this is the style they had, right?
Hello, hon.
Hello.
Come in and have a look around.
So what's the benefit of building a barn this way?
What's the what?
What's the benefit of building a barn this way?
Well, you have two floors. We're up on the second floor. And they would bring the wheat in from the fields by wagons or carts and place it here in the center. And then stack it as high as 10 or 15 feet tall. Then they'd spread it out in the outside treading circle here like you see now. Bring in 2 horses or mules. They trot around the circle. Each time the hooves come down on the wheat, they break loose and shake loose the grain, which right here, look down here, falls through the 1.5-inch gap in the treading floor down to the first floor. So the benefit, you're separating the grain from the wheat. And you're going to have better quality and quantity of grain because you're doing it inside now. It used to be done outside for hundreds of years. You're protected from rain. Now they did have some treading barns, a very, very few in George Washington's time, but they were one floor and long rectangular buildings. So the animals would sometimes tend to go where? Into the corners sometimes. They stopped to go to the bathroom. And also, after all the treading was done, you still have all the wheat, straw, and grain all mixed together on one floor. They used to break loose the grain. That was mostly done outside. They would have the wheat in a pile. It flail away. This is a lot of hard work. You're breaking loose, you're shaking loose the grain. And then next, we don't know who, somebody had the idea to put the wheat into a circle. An animal walk or trot on. Now the animal's doing all the hard work. But all these ways are still done outside, so you still have the mixture of dirt. If it's a windy day, you can lose a lot. And a rainstorm, sudden moisture now. So Washington knows this. George Washington's probably thinking, what's the next step? This is it. This is his invention now. Now you bring that process indoors. The wheat was brought by wagons or carts from the fields, placed in the center here, stacked as high as 10 or 15 feet tall. When it's nice and dry, maybe a day or two, spread the wheat out on the outside circle like you see here. You're still going to have plenty of wheat left over here. You would use pitchforks to add more wheat as the treading process is going on. Bring in your 2 horses or mules or the combination of, they trot around a circle. Each time the hooves come down on the wheat, they break loose and shake loose the grain, which falls through the 1.5-inch gap that's all below the wheat here, down to the first floor. Most of the straw is going to stay up here. It's going to be cleaned up twice downstairs. Wooden rakes again, wooden shovels. You scoop up the grain here with your wooden shovel. It'll be tossed into bins directly below us where it's cleaned one more time with a wheat fan. And this big old handle, you turn the fan, there's a hopper on top, you'd feed the grain on top of there, and it would shake, and the fan is blowing away the lighter dust, chaff, and the straw away. The heavier grain falls to the bottom, allowed in a big old drawer. You can slide the drawer out with a big drawer full of grain. That'll be placed then into barrels or sacks, and then it's taken over to the mill where it's ground into flour or sold as grain. The barn's made of pine. The treading floor has to be stronger for the weight of the animals, oak, and the shingles are cypress. Now, when you came in or when you leave, make sure you have a look at our photograph. Here we have this post. As far as we know, this is the only known photograph of George Washington's original 16-sided treading barn. This photograph was taken about 1870, and a few years later his barn was destroyed either by fire or storm. Some historians think maybe it was dismantled for the nails. We don't know. We do know that his barn was located approximately 3 miles west of our present location. Just keep in mind this used to be a swamp area that we're in now during George Washington's time. Now to see the bottom, when you leave here, you have to walk around in the back of the barn and have a look and see the first floor. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.